Hey everyone, how you doing? It's been a really long time since I've done an update, but I am back, and I got some pretty cool stuff to show you, so we'll get right into it. The first thing we're looking at here is our new scoring system. You've got the screen up there, and we've got a touch screen down here. This system is for commercial settings. So what would happen with this system is that we could install, any number of lanes that we want, and then a control desk, just like a full-size bowling center. This scoring system will handle all that operation. So I'm going to show you really quick our touch screen. So this is actually still in development. We're probably about 90% on it, but this is the touch screen. You can see the pins are displayed down here. We're going to be making some changes to this area down here to be able to get all 5 players. Right now we can get about 4.5 in, so we're going to update that. But if you want to reset pins, I'm going to do that now. So there's the machine, and we're going to do the reset pins. Yes, we want to do second ball. So I did that, and there you go. See, the machine runs. So no more using the reset button that was down there. We're now using everything through the touch screen. And then if you want to see what the last pin indication was, shows you that. So say you weren't sure what pin fell or what pin was up, you could check that out. I'm going to throw a ball real quick, and hopefully you'll get to see some of the animations. Well, I don't know if we're going to get it this time. But there you can see it is keeping score. Machine's running good. Oh, I got the spare. And there we go. You got the spare graphic, the animation actually. So there we go. So I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to walk down to the end of the machine and show you some stuff going on down there. Back in a few seconds. Okay, I'm back here by the pin setter. So what you're looking at right here is our clear masking unit. The reason we have this on the machine is it's something we're doing when we go to various shows. A lot of times people want to see the pin setter, and they don't actually know they can see the pin setter if they're bowling on it. So what we do is we put this front clear panel on so you can see through and into the machine, and then it does actually do some lighting up. So that's what it looks like. Very cool, and it definitely draws people in and then lets them see it. We just put this on. Those LEDs off on the side here in the top, they'll all be covered. We just got a little rubber piece on the top that we put there for right now, but we're going to be putting something more permanent on there. We just did that to kind of cover it up and hide it, but I'm going to step back here. It does look really cool and show up fairly well, even from the other end. So there you go. Nice color changing. Let me go shut that off. All right, and I'm back. So the next thing I'm going to show you is if you go into some of my older videos, you'll see when the sweep comes down, it kind of clunks and hits the bottom. We did a revision to the track that this all runs on, and it really smoothed things out. So that's one thing. The other thing you're going to see is that the deck, when it comes down, picks up the pins, and then goes back up, a lot of people were saying, how come your sweep has to wait until the deck goes all the way up before it starts to run after it's reset the pins? And that was because we did what's called an interlock prevention. So we didn't want to have the possibility of the sweep and table or sweep and deck running into each other. So I had code in there that only allowed one to run at a time. But after reviewing and watching for a while, I decided to change it. So you'll see now that the sweep actually does start up as the deck is going up, and it looks a lot better, more what people are used to seeing. And in addition, when we go to shows, a lot of people were actually hitting the sweep because they thought it should be going faster. So now that we've sped it up, it helps out a lot. Plus this sign on the front here that we put, that's our new logo, and that's also helped out. So, but let me throw the ball and you'll see what I'm talking about. So you can see it was a lot smoother there. It really didn't make any noise. Here comes the deck. And there you go. You can see it went up at the same time the deck was still running. I'm going to throw the ball here again. We're going to spot new pins. Okay, so the next thing I want you to watch, I don't know if you caught it on the first one, but the deck, when it went down, it used to kind of slow down so that we could pick the pins up, and then it would go back up and accelerate. It doesn't do that anymore. I want you to pay attention. You're probably going to see where it actually stops very momentarily. Here it comes. Watch it stop. And there it goes. So what's going on there is that we changed the whole mechanism up top that lifts and lowers the deck. And I'm going to show you that in 1 second. I'm going to get this going. I'm going to step back now and back by the machine and let you see what the deck does with the new mechanism. Okay, so I'm here back by the machine, and what you're looking at is this crank arm is what actually lowers and raises the deck. So we used to have a crank arm on the other side of that gearbox, and what that was, it was the crank arm that as the deck started going down, that crank arm would catch the deck and prevent it from going all the way down. But when we went to go spot pins, we would move the arm out of the way. It was basically an arm with a hook in it. So you've probably seen some of that stuff and in the other videos, so I'm not going to go back into it here, but as you can see, I'm going to run it now and you'll see what it does. Cycle the machine. So it's very simple. It just runs and it's going to stop and then just reverse back up. It made things a lot simpler for us and eliminated a lot of parts and mechanism, and it works great. So it's all being controlled now off of that switch right there. So that's our off spot switch, but we found after we reviewed all of our machine design that we could actually use that switch to stop the deck where we wanted it and then bring it back up. So on a spotting cycle though, I'm going to do that now. You're going to see it just continues right around. So that's when it goes all the way down and then it'll come back up. So that's been working out really well, and again, eliminate a lot of the parts. So I'm going to pause it again, and I'm going to move to a different section, and we're going to show you the new turret design. All right, so I'm standing back here now, and what I did is I ran the machine and I filled the turret up with pins. And I'm going to briefly explain what goes on. So in our old design, I'm going to walk around to the other side of the machine. In this area here, we had what was called the turret dump arm. And what it was is an arm that would move forward, and then it would hit a roller that was on this upper plate and cause it to shift. That actually, again, was a lot of mechanism, motors, switches, and stuff to make all that happen. And I started thinking, geez, is there a simpler way to do this? It was also a little slow. So I sat down, and it took quite a while to come up with the design, but we have a new design now, which I'm going to show you. So what goes on, I'm going to try and explain this as best I can. It's kind of difficult to explain, but we have this roller here now, and as you can see, there's a little like hook on this upper plate. What goes on is that in the old design, we used to rotate the upper plate using this motor and everything, but now we're actually rotating the bottom plate. As you can see, there's slots in there, and there's bolts that go from up here all the way to down in here. So that's what's controlling the turret rotating. This upper plate, I'm going to try and do it here. As you can see, it can actually move. You can see I'm doing it there a little bit by hand. I don't want to do it too much because it'll dump the pins. But what goes on is that when we're going to dump the pins, as the motor turns on, the bottom plate goes to rotate, and the top plate is being held in position by that lever and notch there. So what goes on is that the bottom plate moves, and this part here will move over and align so that this pin can drop in. So this opening actually moves so this pin can drop in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the other side and let you see it actually happens very, very fast now. So I'm going to pause and make sure I've got the machine ready to go, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm over here set up, and I'm going to try and let you see this all happens. I've got a pin up here that's ready to go in. I just momentarily unplugged the motor, but I'm going to plug it back in and let you see it run. And hopefully you can see everything happen. It happens very fast, so there we go. So it's one quick movement that does that now. So it speeds things up quite a bit. Instead of having that arm run forward and then dump and then go and dump the pins before anything can happen, it's one movement now. So I'm going to run some pins up here real quick and let you see them feed in. Advance this a little bit just to speed things up. Here come the pins. And there we go. You can see how fast it was that the conveyor didn't even slow down or stop. It just, everything kept right on going. So it's much, much faster. It makes the machine cycles a lot shorter. So the next thing I'm going to show you is our new lift. So I'll pause it, get a ball, and we'll show you what that all looks like. All right, so here's the new lift running. It doesn't look like too much, but if you go and look some of the old videos, you can see that this lift looks much different than the older one. Up here we had a slanted plate. We called it the pin aligner. And it had kind of two curved sections, one from each side, and that would align the pin. Right now, the way this one works is the pins are just bumped off and go right on the conveyor, and they're aligned there automatically by doing that. This lift is also now our ball lift. So down in this area here, you can see the turntable that we still use. We used to have, that cord there, we used to have what was called the auger, and it ran right through this area here. And the ball would sit between the auger and the cushion. And then as the auger was turning, it would push the ball off to the side. And there was a ball door, you know, somewhere down in this area here. And then there was the lift to bring it up. What we have now is everything's been redesigned for efficiency. The ball and the pins all come up the same lift. So I'm going to go throw the ball here, and you can see that. So here we go. So you can see the ball and the pins all rotating. Ball goes right in. There we go. Here it comes. And there you go. And then the pins are coming up. Now you can see that one's crooked, and there it got seated. So we used to reject a lot of pins in the past. Well, let me cycle the machine so it can finish. We used to reject a lot of pins down in that area down there when they were hanging out. We don't do that anymore. We made some design changes again so that every pin that comes up can come up the lift. If it gets into the lift, it can come up the lift. I don't know if we're going to see anything here. Let me try running another cycle here. Oh, that was only half the pins on that one, but you can see how that pin is crooked, and there it gets seated. And here comes the ball too. So let me throw another ball here. Ball's already in and coming up. Now it just stopped because the deck was down, but now it's up. There we go. That happens really quick. What happened there? Here we got two pins coming up, and you'll see them get rejected. There you go. Two pins get in there, it will reject it. But if it's just one like this where it's hanging out, it gets seated in there. There you go. So what happened when the machine just stopped there is that the deck was down, and it wasn't safe to dump the pins. So as soon as the deck came up, then the pins dumped. The conveyor shuts off until the deck comes up, and then it dumps. And right there it stopped, because what's going on is I've got a full deck, and I've got a almost full turret. So what happens in our machine, unlike a Brunswick machine, we don't dump the 5-pin in and hold it there. We hold the 5-pin up here, okay? And as soon as those pins are set down there and the deck comes up, it'll dump that. I'm going to run that so you can see it. I'll manually do it. So we're going to set the pins up right now. And then as soon as the deck comes up, it's going to shift back. There goes the 5-pin. So everything, again, very quickly. Let me throw one more ball so you can see this. And there we go. So those are all the changes we made to the machine. The good news is that when I originally did one of my proof of concept videos, I had said that we were patent pending, and we are now no longer patent pending. We actually are patented now. That paperwork just went in and it's all official. So this machine is patented. Very happy to say that. So if you have any questions, definitely leave some comments down below. I'll be watching and answering as best I can. Sorry if this was a bit of a long video and I was bouncing around a lot, but I was trying to cover a lot of information. If there's any questions, anything that people are really confused on, I can always come back and do another video. But if you're going to be in the Rochester, New York area, definitely feel free to get in touch with me. You're more than welcome to come by and see the lane. And tell your friends all about this. If any of them want to buy a lane, we offer $500. So if you tell your friend and they come and buy a lane, you get the $500. So a little incentive for you there. So again, let me know if you have any questions, and have a good day, have a good holiday break here.